Greetings and salutations. Boss here. And it's with somewhat of a heavy heart, but I got a little bit of time, so I'm going to be careful with my wording. Because the truth of the matter is, after a while, you get desensitized at certain things that would initially, when you first see it, just blow you away. You know, like the first time you've ever seen a fight. You know, like two people who were just determined to fight, and they just punching each other in the face, and they might be bleeding and, you know, showing disfigurement, but they're still fighting. And you, without having seen or been familiar with that type of scene, are just like, ew, you know, covering your eyes, kind of looking, but not really looking. And then after a while, you start seeing more occurrences like that. Maybe you go through like World Star and fight videos and go and look and see and go. Now you search out to see more fights like this. Maybe not in person, but, you know, online or something like that. And you get more desensitized. You don't look away. You're just like, oh, you know, you want to see who got the better of who. And then, but you get desensitized at the fact that this is harm caused by another human being to another human being, be it in a competitive sport or unjustly, and the other person would rather not be engaged. But you see it, and now you can see it. Now you can watch it, and you're used to it. When you feel someone is being victimized, individually or as a race or as a group, it's a sad occurrence. And that's where the heavy heart part comes in at, because you never want to see death to the point where you're used to it, or killing to the point where it's used to it, victimization to the point where you're used to it, because that's not how you think life is and life goes. You know what I'm saying? You do know what I'm saying. It's occurring enough to where, yes, you do, and you should know what I'm saying. And now it's not so much as not being used to it, it's now, how do you feel about it? Do you feel this is right around the corner from you? Do you feel you're next in line, or this could occur at your house, or on your block, and on your street? You know, it's not so far, no, it's not a few and far between type of occurrence. Now it's like, yeah, that just happened. Yeah, you might not have thought it was in places like Minneapolis. You might have not thought it was in places like Wisconsin. You might not have thought it was in places like Illinois. Why not? Because it is now. You just saw that. You just saw that. If you've been keeping up with the most recent occurrences, yeah, you just recently saw these occurrences. And in more places than that, not just where it's urban areas, not where it's more commonly violent acts happening. Now it's just happening. It's just happening. And people don't want to resort to defunding the police, but the police are involved in these occurrences that I'm telling you now are happening more and more often. It used to be, it wasn't that long ago to where it was considered to be an epidemic of police brutality. Now it's an epidemic of police-caused deaths. You know what I'm saying? Not, man, by God. By God. By God. Whew. The Evanston native who got killed that Sunday, that brother was how it started in Kenosha. Okay, that happened in Kenosha. So this man gets shot 7 times. I'm not getting into the specifics because that's where people start to dissect life and start putting a brand or start putting some kind of prejudice on how it happened, or if it happened, or if it happened the way you thought, or happened the way you would have, you know, considered it right or wrong or whatever, or a good kill or whatever. He didn't die. If that's a bright side. he may or may not be paralyzed from the waist down. If that's a bright side. But to be shot 7 times, and then of course the media is going to totally sensationalize the fact that his kids were there. You see this man walking away from you. There's more than enough officers to subdue him, but none of them have what real police, old school police, would call sand or grit. Because he's walking away not showing you a weapon, meaning we have a weapon, we have the means to subdue him without even having to go to the pistol just yet, without even having to go to the Glocks or the 9s or whatever it is you're armed with as far as lethal weapon is concerned. We got from this side of the car, the front of the car, to the other side of the car, to as a group, one of us show a little bit of intestinal fortitude, and take this brother down, because his ass ain't fucking listening. To the point now where he's going in the car where there could be a weapon. Now, you're in fear for your life, but not utilize any skills to subdue him before then. Now he's shot 7 times in the back, and it's a media frenzy because, hell, it doesn't look like the police know what they're doing, and the defund the police objective seems way, way, way more of a possibility now. Because you don't know what the hell you're doing. Y'all are not being taught the right things. This money that's being wasted on y'all uniforms and taking up the crease and letting out the pants when you get too fat and all that kind of jazz, yeah, that's a waste. That's a waste. The job you're supposed to be doing to protect and serve is not being utilized properly. It's not being utilized well. It's not good enough. Don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. It is not to eliminate the police, it's just to put the training and the reform in, instead of just putting it directly in there to where y'all get new weapons to start shooting people over old, scared tactics. Because it seems like fear. It seems like you're in fear, and then you utilize the weapon unjustly or without just cause, and then the police look bad. The police around the world look bad, and these things are happening all around the world. It's so broad. It's so broad. May, okay, George Floyd. February, New Mexico. April, Shreveport. Dude, you guys are everywhere. The police departments are everywhere. Everybody don't have the same objective, but your police are worldwide. You can't, and yeah, you can say it's the media putting it on TV like that, but they're not the one capturing the footage. The footage is being captured by any and everybody who could, snap a pic, cop a video real quick. Then it goes to the media, and then now it's out there. And from that mishandling of a police situation and matter goes to the fucking Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm gonna do my best to try to be a cop at 17 and do what I think would help. Because what he's learning at home makes him want to be a policeman and clean up the streets. Clean up the streets with what he understands to be right. I stop these people from, tearing up the city and damaging property. I'll do that now at 17 years old with an AR-15 walking down the street, and nobody is suspicious of what he's done when they see him and pass by him to ask, is the trouble that way? Shit, I just caused it. I just busted a couple of fools. I ain't gonna tell you that. You go and shoot somebody at 17, then as they come try to approach you and disarm you, as you're going through the litter of unarmed protesters, people are trying to disarm you. These are heroes. These people are brave. And they're trying to disarm him of that AR. And 2 other people get shot. Because his Blue Lives Matter objective is to go out and protect the citizenry and the property, and as he was caught on tape saying, yeah, we're going to go out here and protect the property of a town 15 miles away. Yeah, I came over here. I was bussed in, or I caught a ride in, to come down here and make sure these folks don't tear up this town, or at least they don't come 15 miles to where I live and come and, destroy my town. This asshole comes to Kenosha. He lives in Antioch. And he's on the job doing what he thinks Blue Lives Matter, or being told what he believes the job of policemen are, because that's what he wants to be, and that's all he's ever wanted to be. But the type of police he is, we don't need that. We don't need that. The NBA, Yeah, I see what you're doing. I see what you're trying to do. And more power to you. Maybe taking away the attention from things that we like and love and enjoy and find leisurely pleasure in should be halted and stopped. I mean, just once and for all. No, we're not going to take no knee and stop standing up for the flag. We're just not going to damn do it. We got bigger fish to fry. And whoever gets the ring this year is going to be way more tarnished as a result of this just being the most recent killing at the hands of our, state-funded police departments throughout the world. And I'm telling you, listen to me. Policemen of old don't want their money messed with. They don't want their pensions messed with. If you got an unruly person that's just not complying, or they're, causing you some type of discord in your legal right to apprehend them or question them or arrest them, dude, you do what you got to damn do to subdue them. Not the Derek Chauvin, I'm just going to put my knee on his neck while two people got his feet until his body goes limp. I'm pretty sure that's not in any book, manual, hand, or nothing, no SOP that says that's necessary. You don't need a limp or unconscious person to bring in. You don't have to do that. If he's not moving and you're not trying to put the handcuffs on him, then just put him in the back of the freaking car. He can go in alive. We got him. That's the kind of cop that this young 17-year-old Rittenhouse boy was going to be. That's what he was going to be. Rittenhouse was going to be one of them cops. He doesn't know his job is to protect, not control. And he would not know that. He'd be a proud candidate coming out of the academy, brave as hell, chest out, chin up, just know he about to go and make a difference. But not when he thinks he has to control the public because of his uniform and his badge, not protect the people because of his badge and his uniform. His perspective would be totally tarnished, and he would do more damage than he ever would help anybody. You know what I mean? Too many cases, too soon, and people can't even get along and get over the last situation until there's another one. It's like, okay, well, this is just it seems to be running rampant. It's almost at the pace of an epidemic, a pandemic. It's happening everywhere, and we don't know how to stop it. We don't know how to control it. Well, you put more money towards actual disease and CDC control pandemic. You put less money into people-controlled, people-operated areas of humanity functioning organizations. You put less money into that. If you don't want to be a policeman after we give you this new reform and we start putting more measures towards social interaction and social programs, well then fine. You didn't want to be a policeman in the first place, or you wanted to be a policeman for the wrong reason anyway. So let's not give you a badge. Let's not give your ass a gun. Let's not give you the position to make authoritative decisions, because you're going to have your own little personal agenda, and we don't need that. And we don't trust you with that type of power. Nor should we. The death tolls are too many and too much.
Power off.
Too many and too much. We can't take those risks anymore. Kyle Rittenhouse may very well have been just some degenerate spaz, inbred retard from, that little part of Illinois, just looking to do something to make himself seem viable. But he would have only have been, like I said, he'd have been another Derek Chauvin out of Minnesota. He'd have been like the guy in freaking Kenosha. Fucking, what was that retard name? Rustin Shesky. He'd have been another one of them. He'd have been one of those cops anyway. And he probably would have had another crime on a larger scale to where he got incriminated and ended up in jail himself anyway. He just got caught at 17, but now he's a juvenile. What's the most that can happen to him if nobody, does anything to him unjustly in the juvenile detention center where he's currently being held? He wants to be a cop. He wanted to be a cop. Oh yes, in the worst way. So much so that he's on with an AR-15 out in the streets of a protest. And they talk about they couldn't tell whether or not he was a part of the Kenosha Guard, some made up group. Kenosha Guard, protecting the citizenry and the safety and the property of Kenosha. They couldn't tell if he was with them or decipher if he was with them no more than they could decipher whether it was Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Well, then why didn't somebody else come and busting? When he started busting, why wasn't they busting? Because nobody else was out there strapped. That's why his ass was getting hit with a freaking skateboard instead of being popped after he started shooting or after he shot the one person in the head, letting everybody know what his objective was. He was out there to do something he didn't have the right and authority to do, especially not at 17. So I don't know who the rest of that fucking group was that he was supposed to be with, the Kenosha Guard, but hell, who was the terrorist group and who was out there for, the rights of the people to peacefully protest for Jacob Blake? You couldn't decipher who was out there with an AR-15, and if he was with the group that's peacefully protesting. I think everybody without the ARs is probably the peaceful protesters. The guy running down the street in his daddy boots trying to, relive his daddy World War II moments of victory. Yeah, that retard, that one. The one with the distorted reason of why he's out there in the first place. He's not there for anything except to follow his own agenda. When they left Antioch, they came to Kenosha with that objective. He shot the one person in the head, then he's running down the street, and that's when the people realize somebody has to do something before he decides to possibly unload where more people are. And that happened. Those people are the real heroes. Those people were brave to have even done so. Everybody probably should have just scattered and let him run down there with the rest of his comrades were, which was the rest of the police, because as you saw, as he walking down the street, they're just like asking him, general questions. No one's alarmed that he has a rifle. He don't look like he's in uniform. He don't look like he's in any shape to be of any type of organization. Why not apprehend him? What are you doing with a freaking AR out here? No one else is. I don't know. Maybe that's a part of what we have to look into when we do the reform and we do the defunding. Because that should have been a basic alarm or an alert or a sign of something's wrong, because he's running down the street towards you with an AR and everybody else is unarmed, trying to scream to you that this guy is the one that was doing the fucking shooting. Hey, that gut instinct and those cop instincts, everybody don't have them. You're right. Nobody on them fucking tanks had them. Nobody patrolling the streets of Kenosha seemed to have had them. Because somebody probably should have apprehended his ass and took that fucking rifle away from him. They didn't do that. I understand he got some water and an accommodation for having shot the three people that he shot. There's no justification that there were white people that got shot at the hands of another white person. No one black is saying, oh, well, goody for them. Now they know how we feel. No, it was still people out there for the reason of peaceful protest that were unjustly shot, hurt at the hands of this guy. And he happened to be white. So no one's taking any small victories from that. So it's not a black or white thing. It's a racist and a hatred thing, which I've been trying to make known ever since I've been trying to speaking on it. It's just so freaking frustrating. So, NBA, NHL, any other sports organizations that are deciding not to perform or not to compete, this is their way of trying to say and do something like, man, we don't have the grip on this that y'all keep trying to say, oh, it's okay, it's all right. No need to defund. Let's just look at this from another angle. Apparently not. Naomi Osaka, I like the way she came out. She was just like, and she plays, tennis? That's just two women knocking the ball back and forth. She said, no, I'm not even doing that. She said, I'm not even doing that. And the genocide against black people makes me sick to my stomach and makes me nauseous. And I'm a woman and I am a nigga. No, she said I'm black. She said she's a black athlete. I thought that would have been cold blood. She said that. I'm Naomi Osaka, and I'm a nigga too, and I don't like this shit. That would have been cold. But what she did say was, yeah, I'm a professional, and I'm sickened by the things that have happened against the people who are trying to protest peacefully, and the reasons for the protests against, Jacob. Okay, and I'm black, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to stand here. I'm going to stand for tennis. And it kind of made everybody just, everybody who was already doing it, she just fell in line also with it. Put her little hand up. No more tennis for me. Till y'all stop the shit in the street. Okay, Naomi, we're going to see what we can damn do. We got to revisit this another way, a different way. So close to where everybody's talking about elections, overshadowed again by another senseless act and more unsettling news for this country. Which direction are we going to go in to fix it and right this ship to where we can get back to any type of enjoyment of anything? Of anything. Just regular livelihood at alone. Can we even get back to that? No, we can't even stop killing each other. People are still dying as a result because people are still trying to force and push their own agenda against one another. You're trying to make this great big race war that I don't think you want to do. And it ain't enough people hating to even do it, really, is what's happening. That's why they're trying to capitalize on when these situations happen and there's the civil unrest. People are being put in and planted and sent in to do more, to make more of an uproar, to maybe they can get it started. And it still doesn't work. Black people, white people, Latin people, Asian people, people of all descents are still coming together in defense of the harmony that they believe humans can all have together, hand in hand, hand in hand. That's why Kyle Rittenhouse shot however many times he shot, and shot people of his own race, because they were in defense of the same civil rights that everybody's supposed to have. He didn't shoot two black people. If they thought, two black people went down, so yeah, two for us. No, these were young people that was coming after you to disarm you, because they're not for your objective and they're not with you on what it is that you're doing. It's still love versus hate. Love is always going to have a chance. Togetherness is always going to have a chance. I'm telling you what God loved. God is in defense of love. So that's the fight that we're all fighting. It doesn't matter your race or color.